Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Lost and Found podcast. This is your host, Amanda. I am so excited to be here. How are you? We are back in our own house, back in our home studio setup. My gosh, I hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July weekend and that you got to have a good time, either celebrating with friends and family or just stuffing your face with barbecue food or doing absolutely the opposite. Maybe you went on a shopping spree and went to a spa. I don't know, but I hope that you enjoyed your 3-day weekend here in the United States and just made the most of it in whatever way makes the most sense for you and your lifestyle. But hope everybody had a wonderful, safe, fun weekend or relaxing, whatever it is that you needed. I hope that you got it. We are back on the show today for our Monday mantra, trying to catch back up after missing a few days due to my baby nephew being born. If you haven't caught up on that, go back and listen to the 4th of July episode that came out. I gave you like a quick 20-minute update on what's been happening to me the last couple of weeks and why we had to skip Monday Mantra and the Wanderer Wisdom Wednesday, because I had a lot going on. And we have even more going on for pretty much until mid-August. We are running everywhere, but it's okay. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of chasing a dream or trying to make something come to fruition. You can't just work with left brain and right brain separately. You got to find a way to merge them together and teach yourself how to manifest your future self by acting like your future self. And so my future self, I'm trying to tell her that she works really hard. She interviews, she edits, she makes big changes. She's trying to lean into her creative side. She's learning more about herself, educating herself, pushing herself, and pushing her boundaries, really. So here we are. That's what we're doing. But today is your Monday Mantra episode. So this is for anybody that is your first time here. Welcome. This is a show that's all about me sharing my journey. So I am trying to find my place and purpose in this world. And part of that journey has been to reset my mind, change my perspectives about what's expected of me, either in my career or in my place in this world, and trying to find what works best for me personally. And I'm taking you all on that journey. So Mondays are the Monday mantras. And I know mantra might be a weird word right now and very woo-woo on the internet, but I use it simply as this is how I want to structure my week. These are the things that I struggled with either the last couple of days, or it's a topic where I thought this could be helpful for someone to help reframe their mindset and put them on a path that will help them feel fulfilled and more purposeful and intentional with whatever it is that they're trying to do with their life. So I know that sometimes episodes can be way too long. Monday Mantra's a quick hitter, very maximum 10 minutes, if at all. And I just give you the mindset to set you up for the best for the week. So for this week's episode, I wanted to discuss an Instagram profile that I came across, I guess, a couple weeks back. The algorithm fed her art to me, and this handle is Random Paintress. So she's an artist, and she's been doing, looks like, giant canvases of, and again, I'm not a traditional artist, so if I call this watercolor and it's not, my bad. It looks like sunsets or sunrises. It's always mixes of pinks and purples and blues all mixed together, but it like drips down and she like spreads it across, and it looks beautiful. Like if you could capture a sunset or a sunrise and you put it onto like a 2x4 canvas, that's what she's done. And they're really good. But on her Instagram, she'll do the painting as the background, and then in the middle of the painting, she'll put a saying or a quote or her mindset changes that she's been implementing with her life as she's been figuring out her creative side. And so I just thought it was really helpful. So she posted this carousel a couple days back, and I saved it, but I really liked the very first photo on the carousel. And it says, "How lucky am I that I didn't end up with what I thought I needed? How lucky am I that I did not end up with what I thought I needed?" And I loved that. It brought me back to center, right? Because when you're on a self-discovery journey, self-fulfillment journey, trying to understand who you are and your place in this world and what exactly that means, and how do you make yourself happy after you've been trying to make everybody else happy, if you don't really know how to do that, what does that mean, self-fulfillment? And how do you process that without becoming so self-centered as well? Let's take a shot. Every time Amanda says self, everybody will be messed up. Anyway, but how lucky am I that I didn't end up with what I thought I needed? There have been been so many times in my life where I thought like the biggest tragedy or the biggest heartbreak or the biggest rejection I had was personal, right? Like I took it like, oh my gosh, I wanted that thing so badly. How could the universe deny me this? Or how could somebody treat me this way? How could I let myself get to this point where I feel so ruined and heartbroken and devastated that this thing did not happen? And the truth is that as you mature, it's not always obvious the first time something gets rejected or a door gets slammed in your face. Learning to accept no's without letting it penetrate you personally is an incredible skill. I'm not going to sit here and say that feeling rejected is an easy thing to like let go of, right? Like you can't just be like middle finger to the sky to pretty much anybody that doesn't agree with us or doesn't like us. But I have learned that when I have failed at something or I have felt a bad thing was happening to me or what I wanted didn't come to fruition, there's a reason that door closed. And there's a reason when somebody would tell me, oh, you're so lucky you dodged a bullet, even though I wanted that bullet real bad, apparently. I wanted to be in that relationship, or I wanted that thing to work out, or I really wanted to get that thing, whatever that materialistic type thing is, tangible situation. And when it didn't work out, you don't always see the positive in that immediate rejection. And that's okay, right? You need to feel whatever it is that you need to feel. But how lucky are you that you did not get the thing that you thought you needed? You wouldn't be where you are today if you had gotten everything you wanted right then and there. If your whole life panned out the way that you wanted it to pan out, there'd be no surprises. You'd have a pretty even keel of emotion. It wouldn't be that high or low. Your experiences would be predictable, right? If you got everything that you wanted in the timeline that you expected it to happen in, right? That's the key. And if that had happened to me, I would have been a completely different person. I would have. I would not have learned probably how to stand up for myself. I probably would have stayed in abusive situations a lot longer than I should have. If I had made it on certain trips, I could have been hurt. I could have been taken advantage of. I could have stayed in a career that, while theoretically stable at the time, may not have stayed that way in its eternity. And I potentially could have lost my family. Or if I had accepted a relationship situation right out of college, like I could have been living somewhere else. I could have never joined national security. I could have possibly started the podcast sooner if that had ever been an interest. Or I could have been a mom by now with 4 kids, like living in Mississippi. I really don't know, right? There's an Amanda that exists at all those other alternate universes if the decisions had been panned out the way that I thought they would. And maybe she's split off existing in some other place. But who I am now in this very moment, sitting here, recording this video, recording this podcast, sharing this on YouTube, this version of Amanda would not be here today if things had not failed, if things had not been denied, if things had not changed when I least expected them to change, if I had not been pushed to a limit where I finally decided that the pain of staying the same far outweighed the cost of my future. If I had not made those decisions, or I had not accepted the rejection, and I'm using rejection as a umbrella term right now. If I had not accepted that rejection for what it was and moved on with my life and pivoted when necessary, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be spending so much time with my family. I wouldn't be getting access to different trainings at my job. I wouldn't be moving my side hustle forward in this way. I wouldn't be meeting new people, making these new friends, finding these new business connections. I don't think I would be as close to finding out my purpose in life if I hadn't fumbled some other things along the way, or if other people hadn't made the decision to walk away, right? Instead. So how lucky am I that I didn't end up with what I thought I needed? How lucky am I to be living in this dimension? How lucky am I to be figuring out my path of transcendence in this way, to be free enough intellectually, physically, emotionally, metaphorically, to have the ability to make decisions about my own life right now and what I want to do with it, And if I had ended up with what I thought I needed all those times way back in the day, I think I would have been miserable, right? Yes, those rejections hurt in the moment, but they ended because they weren't the right fit. And that's what I want you to think about for this week. If you are struggling with seeing the reason for why you are where you are right now, if you're struggling to pull out the silver lining of your current situation, that is what I would say to myself. How lucky am I? You're going to reframe it into a gratitude statement. How lucky am I that I did not end up with what I thought I needed? So you flip it to gratitude. Flip it to gratitude. You accept your circumstances as they are because there's nothing you can do other than to live in your own reality. And 3, you're processing the difference between what you want and what you need. I'm pretty sure that's a Rolling Stones line, yeah? You can't always get what you want, but you just might find that you get what you need. So how lucky am I that I did not end up with what I thought I needed? Gratitude, acceptance of your situation, and processing the difference between what you want and what you need. Those are 2 different things. It's great if they can overlap. I feel like that's the peak, that's the epitome of where you can get true joy out of something. What you want and what you need coincide at the same time, which is rare sometimes in life, especially if you're not training your brain to look for things in the world that coalesce like that come together. But that's what I want you to think about this week. If you're like me, where you've struggled in the past with accepting why things ended, why you got rejected, why that door closed, why a certain situation didn't work out for you the way that you wanted it to, no matter how badly you wanted it, no matter if you put your whole foot in it, like whatever. That's a Southern phrase. But when things don't work out the way that you want them to, and when you think you want something desperately or you need something desperately, learning to let go of that situation actually, I think, can make you stronger. So that's what I want you to work on or think about this week. If there's a moment where you're struggling with getting something your way or, letting go of my way or the highway phrases and figuring out how to flip what hurts into something that you can use for gratitude. How lucky am I that I didn't end up with what I thought I needed? Gratitude, acceptance, and understanding the difference between wants and needs. All right. Let me know what you think. Let me know if that mantra helps. Let me know if that inspires you in any other way. If you have a mantra that you like or that you use every day that helps you pivot or go through a transition in your life better, if there's something that somebody said to you that was helpful that you think should be shared with the rest of the listeners, please comment. You can comment directly on Spotify. You can comment directly on YouTube. You can send me a DM on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. My email is hello@podcastforthelost.com. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are all Podcasts for the Lost, and you can find me wherever. Hit me up. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope you have a wonderful week, and remember, Wednesdays are Wanderer Wisdoms, so that's listener Q&A episodes. So if you ever want to submit a question, or you do have a longer comment or a longer conversation you'd like to have, send it via email, hello@podcastforthelost.com, or you can send it via the anonymous messenger. I'll have that added to the show notes as well. Remember, wanderers are always welcome.